that goes, from the actual grounding rod into the panel and up into the ground bar up there, right? That one. So that's right, automatically the first thing. Second thing is this is low voltage cable, and this low voltage cable is not recommended at all for this run. So I'll show you here. So this is the one I pulled off another one already, right? It has the same little low voltage wire, right? And it's no good because we're supposed to be using this. So this wire here is thick enough to handle the voltage that it needs to run through it. So this is exactly the same thing, except we run these individually for each one instead of this low voltage crap that just saves time because it's one thing. And it's supposed to save money, but it's really not, because you see how small they are compared to these, right? So these are the same ones that we were supposed to be running. And so right off the rip, like that wire there is not recommended at all, because it's supposed to have 120 volts running through it. So here, so like this one here, I have 120 volts. Now imagine a car battery. A car battery is 12 volts, and the car battery cables that we use are really thick and big. Now you expect 120 volts to go from here through this little wire all the way to the control panel where the generator's at. That's just insane to me, like how they're doing this, like honestly. So this is 120 volts. This one is also 120 volts. Right, this one is supposed to be 120 volts. Right, all three of those. So those three wires themselves have 120 volts each going independently through them, all the way to the control panel at all times, 24/7. And so you'd expect these not to heat up when you have that much voltage going through them. That's why we use those. So yeah, so that's gonna be. Yeah, so that's going to be the second biggest thing, is literally like this cable here. It's not really recommended to be used. So running these cables, rerunning the entire thing it might just have to happen if these don't hold up, because they might be liable to cause a fire. Because if these heat up at any point in this 60 feet, can it heat up and it could melt together and fuse the wires together because it's such high voltage going through them. So yeah, so either we're gonna have to rerun all that, which sucks to say. I'm not really laughing, it's not a laughing matter, but it's just the reality of the situation. So here in this one, and this wire, I have 12 volts of direct current going through those. So 12 volts that go to the battery. You see, 184, 12 volt for the battery. That's what charges your battery over there. You got 12 volts. Right, so yeah, so this is the exact same problem as what the berries had. So here I'm gonna do it in reverse order so you guys can see. So this is me simulating a power outage, and this tells me pretty much what's going on. It's the same thing. So it's not. So it's not sending to the generator that to transfer the load. So right now I simulated an outage. It should have flipped by itself, but it didn't. So now that I put that fuse back in there, the generator should start turning off, like if the power was restored. Now I should turn off here in a bit, and then I'm gonna do it again. So the computer is working because it registered that the power is back, right? So it's just a step right before that that it's not communicating. Ready to run. See, the control board is working because it just set itself up for the next outage, right? So now that it's ready, working like it's supposed to be, supposedly, right? So once I take this one out, it's gonna tell the generator that the power just went out. All right, so I take the fuse out. And so it's, there you go. See, it was already quick to start, so it just started. So it's running now, right? But it's not transferring. And so it hasn't transferred, right? Because it's not sending ground, it's not sending 23 to ground. So it's not that it's wired incorrectly. It's hell. I mean, for me, it's safe to say that it's wired, because like once the wiring, man, right? Just to make sure, right? So I just put it back in, and so the generator and the computer, the control board are doing their thing like they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, so there's no ground, and your wire 23 is not grounding. Same like the job before I had. Oh my god. Alright. So now that I put that fuse back in there, it's gonna do the same process, and it's gonna basically register that the power's back on, and thus once it registers that, this is supposed to flip back automatically, right? So it's not that I don't see anything wrong with the generator or the control board whatsoever. And one last important part to wrap it up is, so these new load shed modules, these little things where the wires are going into this apparatus, this mechanism right here, right? It has a terminal for this neutral, right? You see the with the blue line, right? So that neutral, this is new. They didn't used to have this before, but all new transfer switches are coming out with these modules that have now an additional wiring terminal for a neutral. So instead of running, because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires in this little thing, right? There isn't a 7th wire for this neutral. So what these guys are doing is they're going and they're, instead of hardwiring it directly to the terminal with the other wirings, making it 7 altogether, they're trying to make sure they're doing the same by having a jumper wire, right, going from the neutral to the neutral. Now, as opposed to having all 7 wires coming through here and connecting like this, right, what they're doing is they're bridging this one with the jumper wire into my knowledge, I don't know how that really works out when you have a neutral that's supposed to be balancing the load from there all the way over here with the jumper wire there, instead of running the neutral hardwired exactly on the module to the terminal like the rest of them with everything else. Get me? So that could be throwing the board off and not, you know, sending 23 to ground. It can't, you know, like, I have no definite say so, because I mean, for one, these aren't the, you know, these wires. Yeah, I don't really have to say much again on that. So now that's the other important part, is that this neutral, instead of running it, you know, through all of this and having it wired to the terminal in that module and directly to here, right, they're doing this. Right, so you can see this wire is just from there to that neutral and goes there and comes around to this neutral bar, right? So it's not really a preferred method when you have 60 feet or however long to balance the load, you know, from the control module on there to this control board. And they're pretty sensitive electronics. It's not like, yeah, so